Carlson, Dory, who?
See you later. You take care. See ya.
You look very official with that nice bag there.
Good day, everyone.
It's nice.
We went to the lawyer's bag. I went to Boston and
Uh-huh.
I got this at a shop down in the Harbor in
Oh,
Boston.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, we went to that
David
conference.
King.
Yeah.
That was nice.
We were there.
Good
to go, Lisa. So I dropped some money in.
Thank
All
you.
right, we're good. Yeah.
Nice.
See you later.
You wanna come
They're
up,
ready.
Gene?
Tony,
Huh?
they're ready
Oh,
with
thank you, sir.
this.
Okay, meeting will come to order.
Thank you.
Monterey County Regional Taxi Authority,
They're gonna.
Board of Directors meeting. Do we have a roll call?
All right, I'll see you
Or
later.
no?
So. You like Gene?
Okay.
Thanks, Lisa. Thank you.
City of Conroe by the Sea,
Here.
City of Delray Oaks.
Here.
City of Marina,
Here.
City of Monterey,
Here.
City of Pacific Grove is absent. City of Sand City, here, City of Salinas.
Here.
City of Seaside,
Here.
County of Monterey,
Present.
and Monterey Regional Airport.
Here.
We have a forum.
Okay, thank you.
Tony taking this or you want me to take this or? Oh, that's right. There was, next up would be pledge, review highlights, and then the chair and vice chair, would be 1-4. So we'll do that in a few. Okay. Who do you want to have the pledge of allegiance?
Thank you. That's Gene Rush, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Review highlights, Ms. Reinheimer?
Can I punt this over to Norm? Norm is our staff person that
Okay.
is responsible for this great agenda.
Yes, hello. Thank you, everybody. I'm Norm Tuitavuki, Chief Operating Officer for the Monterey Salinas Transit District. Also serve as one of the individuals who oversee and administer the Monterey Regional County Taxi Authority. I believe that's what it is. Anyways, good morning to you all. Today's meeting is going to be focused on the RTA's annual governance and financial responsibilities. We'll begin by appointing a chair and a new vice chair for the new fiscal year. The consent agenda, which is included in your board packet, includes approval of last year's minutes, receipt of the preliminary financial report, acceptance of the FY 2025 audit with reimbursement to MST for administrative costs, and renewal of the RTA's liability and director's insurance. We'll also provide an annual administrator's report that's also in your packet as well, and an update on the construction that's happening in Salinas at Lot 12 that will affect Salinas taxi cab operators. And then last, we'll be asking the board to adopt the FY 2027 operating budget and approve the RTA's new cash reserve policy that was mentioned a year ago. There are no recognitions and no closed session items on today's agenda. That concludes my review and highlights of the agenda before you. Thank you.
Hey, any questions to Mr. Tuitavuki? Okay, great. From the public? Good. Okay, now we're gonna appoint a chair and a vice chair for FY 27-28.
And how do we go with this process? Is it a interest or?
However you want to do it.
You'd be looking for nominations and then taking a vote on those nominations.
Okay, so with that, at this time, we are looking for a chair and a vice chair for year 27-28. Is there any nominations for anyone interested in serving?
I nominate Mr. Barrera as chair again and Louis Alejo as vice chair.
I second.
We can do that?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. Hey, all right.
Two amigos.
Sorry.
So with that, can we have a roll call vote?
We need a roll call vote.
Is, no one online?
No one online.
Oh, okay.
No roll call vote is required at this time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any noes or abstentions? Motion carries.
Aye.
And
Well,
with
thank
that,
you for your trust.
I would like to give this over to the new chair because I prepared this for you.
Oh, thank you.
So here's all your, if you want, this
Mhm.
is each item.
Wow. Where are we at?
This is consent. Well, actually, you're here.
Public comments.
You're
Okay,
here for
okay.
public comments then.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Carbone. Okay, any public comments on matters not on the agenda? Going on Zoom? Seeing none, thank you. And then now we're gonna go to the consent. These items may be approved by a single motion. Anyone may request that an item be discussed and considered separately. Need a motion for the consent. Second. Okay, do we have a,
Public comments.
oh, we don't, yeah, we don't have to do a, yeah, is there any public comment? On this matter, anybody on Zoom? Do we just say all in favor on this
Yeah.
one? Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
One abstention.
Yes, sir. One abstention. Thank you, sir. And a consent. Reports and presentations. No action is required here. We're gonna receive the RTA Administrator Report for FY 2026. Mr. Alshouse?
Alshouse.
Mr. Alshouse, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, board. Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Kevin Alshouse. I'm the Contract Services Manager for MST, and I'm here to provide an update on the administrative activities over the last year. It's been a pretty smooth year, I would have to say. So we've got 80 permitted drivers, which is a little bit on the low end, but it's pretty consistent with what we've seen post-COVID. Prior to COVID, we had pretty consistently about 115 to 120 drivers. Post-COVID, it's been between 80 and 90. So we're kind of at that low end, but consistent with post-COVID numbers. We've got 89 vehicle permits. Happy to report that there were 0 complaints over the last year. No RTA complaints. We typically get 1 to 2, so it's not like we get a bunch, but we did not get any this last year. And biggest improvement was in our random inspections. If you'll recall from last year, unfortunately, we weren't able to get any random inspections. There was some changes at the Monterey PD, and there was some shuffling, and that activity just didn't get performed, unfortunately. So there were 0 the previous year. This last year, however, they were able to get 20 random inspections, so averaging almost 2 a month. We asked for them to try to do at least 1 a month, so they improved on that. So, but other than that, it's like I said, it's been a pretty smooth year. I did just actually before this meeting, I heard from the owner for California Taxi, and I just wanted to mention that they purchased 2 accessible taxis, one of which is set to be inspected tomorrow at the Monterey PD. Assuming that it passes, that will be on the road by the end of the week. They also purchased another one that needs some work, so he's anticipating that that will take about a month and a half or so to be out on the road. But yeah, in about 2 months, we might have 2 accessible taxis servicing Monterey County. So it's great news. But that finishes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Alshouse?
Oh, sure. Chair, thank you for that presentation. Just in terms of the inspections that you were performing, what is the purpose of those? What are you looking for?
Right,
What were
so
the results of them?
right, so each vehicle has to have a vehicle permit. So there's just a bunch of things that they go through to inspect to make sure that they're, safe. And then throughout the year, they are just randomly, called and, asked to come in and bring their vehicle and basically it's the same inspection as the vehicle inspection. It's just a random, just to make sure that, throughout the year that they're still maintaining their vehicle.
Are they looking for like tire tread?
Absolutely.
They're
All
looking
safety
for
things.
brakes,
Right.
just like you would at your whatever checkup that you have as part of your car maintenance.
Yeah, making
So-
sure that there's no, tears or, any issues with the interior as well. So, yeah.
Mhm. Good. Any other questions, sir?
That was it for me. Thank you.
Kevin, so through the life expectancy of the taxis, there's a year that their taxis. Is there a year, like 7 years lifespan, is that?
No, that's a good question. Yeah, there really isn't anything like that with the taxis. They tend to get the most use out of them that they can, which is why it's really important for us to, continue inspecting and doing those random inspections. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Questions from the public? Anybody up there? Well, thank you, Mr. Alshouse.
You got the next one too?
Yep.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, I'll just go ahead and go into 4-2. This is just informational for you folks. And it's regarding the Lot 12 construction. So adjacent to the Salinas Transit Center is it's called Lot 12. It's Salinas owned public parking. And starting September 1st, there's going to be a construction project that's going to be, at that lot. The construction is going to impact MST services, so MST fixed route services. It's going to have a minor impact to taxi service. Really, the only thing we're doing is moving where the taxi stand is. So that's going to be moved to Central, just right by the Salinas Transit Center. We've sent out letters to all the taxi companies, letting them know about this construction that's going on. We'll put something on the RTA website as well. And then if there's, any updates or changes, we'll be communicating that with the taxi owners and we'll be putting that up on the website as well. So yeah, in conclusion, I don't think that's going to be a huge impact. Most of the impact is probably to MST's fixed route services, but we did want to let them know about that taxi stand. So
Thank you. Any questions on this item with Mr. Alshouse?
What are they constructing?
What are they constructing?
I actually don't know. Yeah.
Since we're both in Salinas, I like to know.
A Motel 6 there.
Hi there, Michelle Overmeyer, Director of Planning and Innovation. It is going to be a private development, and so the property is being transferred right now from the city as a public parking lot over to a private developer. It's supposed to be a 3-story mixed-use development with underground parking. We did a presentation to the MST Operations Committee, I want to say it was in April, maybe, with some information about that. And the applicant was there and provided some more information. So they were expecting to break ground September 1st, and it would be about a 2-year construction period.
Thank you. Any other questions, from the directors, questions from the public? Mr. Alshouse, how's the working relationship with the city of Salinas?
City, it's good.
Can you say
No-
loud
no
and clear,
complaints.
please?
The
Enthusiasm.
relationship with Salinas is great.
Cause if they're not working well, you know who to call. I
Correct.
think, Mr. Alshouse, we appreciate your work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bids, proposals, none. Public hearings, oh, loving this. How about some action items? Ms. Andrea Williams, the professional on our finances. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning. Wasn't sure if it was gonna hit the noon hour or not. Good morning, Andrea Williams, Finance Manager, Monterey Salinas Transit. On page 57 in your board packet, you will find the fiscal year 2027 draft operating budget. For this budget, we assumed a 4.1% decrease in valid operating vehicles from 101 to 97 as compared to the prior year budget, and an increase in vehicle permit fees from $271.73 to $413.95, resulting in an overall increase in revenues of 46.3%. A portion of this fee increase is needed to balance the budget, and with the rest fund the cash reserve goal. This budget includes a $1,970 increase in expenses for accounting software and permit sticker decal costs. This has resulted in an overall increase in expenses of 5.5% as compared to the prior year budget. Staff is proposing that if the surplus of $2,328 is realized, that it be transferred to cash reserves. This approach strengthens the RTA long-term financial stability. Staff recommends the RTA board adopt the proposed FY 2027 operating budget.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Williams, the directors? Yes.
I have a question.
Right.
So, you're going into more profit, but you're raising the permit fees on the vendors?
It's for the fees, yeah,
Right.
operator fees, yeah.
Right, would there be, I mean, of course you've thought about this, but what are the pros and cons of perhaps minimizing the hit on the taxi driver and having admittedly less reserves, but how do you decide that balance? Because you want to keep your taxi drivers employed and making money.
Right. I think Norm Tudovicki is on the line. I think he has that handled.
Yeah, I don't know if I have it handled, but I'll provide more information about that. Yeah, so we looked at two things. Number one, we looked at what would it take for us to continue operating with the current level of service that we provide to the RTA. As you know, or maybe you don't know, MST employees work for MST, but they also perform services for the RTA, and those administrative services cost some, there's a value to that. And so every year when we come back to the board, we reimburse those services back to MST. After looking at the cash reserve, where we're at now, and then focusing on where we want to be in the next 5 years, we believe that over the next 5 years, we can get to 1 full year of operating expenses by stretching out what would have been another $130 some odd dollars this fiscal year. That would have been an increase in addition to the $400 or so dollars that we're asking for. If we decided to reduce the cash reserves, we could come back and reduce the overall fees that we're asking this board to adopt. But I just don't see the value in doing that. If we want to get to a 1 full year of operating expenses, this is the hit that we have to take this year. Next year, we would anticipate it increasing it by another $24 or so. And then the next 3 following years after that, an additional $24 per year. At the end of that 5-year kind of smoothing, we anticipate that we may be able to reduce fees just to maintain current budget without trying to increase the cash reserves. I don't know if that confused you more, but that's kind of the explanation that we have right now. So really what it is reimbursing for the services that we provide, and then also adding some additional money to get to a 1-year cash reserve. So right now we have about, is it about 60% of a cash reserve on hand now. And we anticipate over the next 5 years, if we do the increase of approximately $24 per year, we'll be able to get to a full 1-year cash reserves for operating expenses.
No, that helps a lot. And it was information I don't know. It sounds like a nice balance between taking care of your drivers, who are more like employees than independent vendors. So that's helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Alton.
I just wanted to real quickly mention, so it's kind of confusing. There are 3 different, excuse me, permits. There's a driver permit, a vehicle permit, and then the owner permit. And we're only talking about raising the rate for the owner permit. So the drivers won't feel any of this. Yeah, so the owner, they pay a due each year and it's based on the number of vehicles that they have. So currently we were charging $271 per vehicle. We're raising that up to $413 per vehicle. This is just going to be charged to the owner. And 400 seems like a lot, but it's pretty consistent with what other authorities are charging per vehicle. So
Great, thank you.
Director Risser?
Yeah, I wanted to make that remark from the staff report that it seemed that we were on the low end. Because I had the same concern, but it says it varies from, it ranges from,
385 to 580.
thank you, to 580. So the 413 is still on the lower end.
Right.
Yeah. Oh. 50, oh,
54, thanks.
yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
But just clarification, clarification, on the insurance, what did, the $19,000, who does that insure? What is that?
Kelly Halkin, and I work with our broker Alliant to secure directors and officers heirs insurance for the RTA. So currently, this is the third year we've held the same rate that we've paid for that insurance to cover this board or this JPA.
Thank you. Director Shirley?
I have a question. So on the operating budget, the RTA admin staff is still 3,000, like that won't change, won't increase. And I'm just curious about that because it seems as though, employee rates that we're paying are increasing and how do we keep that at the same level? Any thoughts on that?
Who can answer that?
This is Norm. Sorry about that. Yes, we don't anticipate the workload increasing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's so the way that we operate and the way that we do things, we meet with you folks once a year. If we had an additional meeting, then we'd look at, doubling probably the price of that. So the cost that we included in this year's budget reflect what we do once a year, typically just to bring you all folks together, do what we have to do for the RTA as a board, and then conduct our business that way.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the directors? Yes, sir.
I'm sorry if you referred to this, but what's the computer software for? Which
That's for
software?
the accounting software.
That's the accounting
Yeah,
software.
everything's gone subscription based now.
Any other questions from the directors?
I'll move the fiscal year 27-28 operating budget.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Who was the second?
Rash.
Rush. Any abstentions? All right, good. We're moving on. Just FYI, IT has, when you're speaking, you don't have to move these things because when you're speaking,
They're on already.
yeah, and they can hear you very well. So the staff is asking not to move. When you're speaking, you don't have to do this. Just keep it the way it is. Mr. Alshouse, you're on. Can you hear me?
sure, yes, sir. Good afternoon. We're in the afternoon now. Kevin Oshouse, Contract Services Manager, MST. So here to recommend the adoption of the Monterey County Regional Taxi Authority Cash Reserve Policy, and I will just read from the discussion. During the authority's 2025 annual meeting, the board requested that staff evaluate the development of a formal cash reserve policy. Currently, the authority does not have an adopted policy establishing reserve levels or defining the appropriate use of reserve funds. A formal reserve policy is considered a financial best practice for public agencies. It provides guidance for maintaining sufficient resources to sustain operations during unforeseen emergencies, revenue shortfalls, delays in grant reimbursements, or other unexpected financial events. A reserve policy also demonstrates prudent financial stewardship and supports the authority's long-term fiscal sustainability. The attached policy establishes a long-term objective of maintaining unrestricted reserves equal to 12 months of annual operating expenses when financially feasible. The policy recognizes that achieving this reserve level may require multiple years depending upon available financial resources and does not require the authority to immediately fund the reserve at the target level. The policy further establishes appropriate circumstances under which reserve funds may be used, requires board oversight to reserve withdrawals, and directs staff to provide an annual report on the reserve balance during each annual board meeting. Staff believes adoption of this policy provides appropriate financial guidance while allowing the authority flexibility to respond to changing financial conditions. And then I'll just read the policy. So Monterey County Regional Taxi Authority Cash Reserve Policy. The objective is to establish a cash reserve policy where Monterey County Regional Taxi Authority maintain a cash on hand minimum balance in the amount of 1 year of annual operating expenses to facilitate cash flow in the event of unforeseen economic conditions that would result in lower revenues from permit fees. MST funds in excess of the cash reserve may be allocated to other priority projects and programs. And the minimum percentage funding requirements. A minimum percentage of 1 year of the total operating budget expenses should be maintained in a contingency reserve. These funds would only be made available for the use upon the declaration of a fiscal emergency by the board or economic events that result in lower revenues from permit fees. In addition, staff may utilize these funds on a temporary basis to maintain cash flow for no more than 90 days in the event permit revenues are delayed. In this situation, if the funds are not replenished within 90 days, staff must report this matter to the board at the next regularly scheduled meeting. So that's the policy, and we recommend that the board adopts it.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Alsop? Director Shirley?
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I was wondering how you arrived at 1 year for I mean, that seems like a lot when we're looking at reserves. It seems like it's usually generally a percentage, but
Right.
a full year seems like a lot.
Right. I don't know if I can answer that. I'm not sure how we arrived at the 1 year number. Norm?
Yeah, let me just review my notes here. So last year when we received a suggestion to look at setting up a cash reserve policy, the team met internally, MST, and that included myself, the CEO, Kevin, and I believe 2 other people. I can't recall their names right now, but we discussed where we should be, and the recommendation was to come up with 1 year cash reserve policy, because as we pay a full year of operating expenses, we have another year that's kind of on the books. And so for us to safely transition into a cash reserve policy, we felt it was prudent and best practice to keep 1 year's in cash reserves. So I don't know if that explains it, but that's kind of what we came up with, and that's what we're recommending.
Okay.
Might I suggest to Norm in that discussion, I don't remember if I was there, time gets times, but if the agency, if the JPA were to be dissolved for whatever reason, we would still have at a minimum of 1 year's worth of taxis that are permitted to be out there that would still need to get their inspections and this, that, and the other thing over that full year. Would that have played into the conversation?
I think so. Yeah, and I think Andrea, if could you talk about how we administer the funds, just so they have an understanding about that. When they adopt this budget, we pay for a year that's already been operating, and then we also have to have another year kind of in the book, so we're on the hook for another year. So it's a little confusing, but after discussion internally, we found that it was best and safest to have that 1 year of operating expenses. And then let me speak a little bit about getting there. Right now, if we were to stop collecting any fees at all, we'd be able to pay what has already occurred on the books, and then we'd have enough in the coffers for this year, but the next fiscal year, we wouldn't have, I think it's about 60%. And so as of today, I think we're near 60% or right between 60 and 70% of a full year's cash reserve. The budget that you folks adopted just a few minutes ago include a 5-year transition plan, collecting fees over 5 years. That'll get us to the full year's operating expense. Did I explain that right, Andrea?
Yeah, you did a great job, Norm.
Okay, all right.
The way it works is today, the board approved our FY25 expenses to be paid out to MST. And so that's 1 year of expenses. Well, in the meantime, we have FY26 that we've already passed. So that's 2 years of expenses. And we're now, into our 3rd year of expenses. So the cash balance actually, if we were to pay MST would be 2 years right off the top paid out. So that leaves us with just the current year. So that's kind of the importance of having that extra money, and a lot of our larger expenses like the D&O pretty much covers that, that year. So it's not a large quantity of expenses, but we do have is absorbed quickly.
Thank you. Director Rush, you have?
Oh, yes, you use the words unrestricted and cash, so where does that leave you with how you can invest? Can you get any interest on the money?
Yeah, it's actually right now I have to look. It's not in a money market account. It's in a checking account.
So just the basic
Yeah.
minimum. Okay. And just out of curiosity, talking about the reserves, did you take a huge hit during COVID where you had no income, but you had all the expenses? I mean,
Well, we still had income.
You
Yeah, the
did?
taxis were still
great. Oh, great. Okay. Just looking for the rationalization
Yeah.
for the full year. Although I think you're prudent, and I wish the city of Monterey had a full year. I mean, that's great. Actually, we do. We have about 20%. 20%.
Great, thank you. Director Amati?
Yeah. So in the discussion, it says, when financially feasible. What defines financial feasibility? Seems like that phrase is carrying a lot of water.
Right.
Yeah, I would say that it's based on the comments and the direction that we received from this board. I mean, we have a plan to continue going down to collect it over 5 years. If we come back to the board next year and the discussion is, hey, we'd like to pause that, we're at 70% now, then you as a board have that discretion to direct us to do so.
Sorry, Norm, help me understand, how would we, if we have a 5-year plan, what are the circumstances in which you would imagine that in a 1-year period, you would get more than your anticipated 20% of the cash reserves?
No, I would say that our plan to get to the 100% in cash reserves would be the discretion of the board to say, hey, you know what, we're getting feedback from the community and we're getting feedback from the taxi owners that the cash reserve and the additional money that we're collecting to get to the cash reserve is becoming a burdensome to us. So you guys have the authority to give us direction about pausing our collection of getting to the 100% cash reserve for the full year.
And then
that's my understanding.
So in terms of evaluating the impact of these fees, are there, formal evaluations or assessments or surveys that you're going to do of your permit holders to be able to then present to the board and say what the impacts of it are?
Yeah, we could certainly do something like that. Reach out to the owners. We have a pretty good relationship with them, and they understand that this is a pretty sizable percentage increase, but also recognize that they've been paying kind of sort of pretty low rates up into this point. So Yeah, but we can absolutely survey the owners to see how how these increased rates are impacting them and their service.
That'd be great.
Director Shirley?
So Norm, to get to that 100%, would these vehicle permits that we're increasing, would that continue to increase, or is it just staying at what we've already increased and then maintain that for the next 4 years?
Over the next 4 years, they would increase by approximately $24 for the next 4 years. At the end of the 5th year and the last year that we collect the money that we need to get to the full cash reserve, we would look at what our operating expenses are at the time to see if there is a way that we could reduce those fees
Okay. So we would continue to increase them every year.
for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
This year and then 4 years following.
Can you also remind me the fares that taxis charge? Do we set that? Like, or they don't have the ability to raise their rates, right?
That's correct. So yeah, it's currently the top amount is $3.50
Okay.
per mile.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And that didn't come into, well, because I guess we don't. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Director Fisher?
Yeah, I'm concerned about the cost of surveys because we're talking about a total budget of expenses of less than 40,000. So what would the cost be to?
Well, I mean, it would just be surveying nine owners.
You would just, MST wouldn't charge for that?
Well, I
It would be
mean,
within our $3,000 budget?
oh, I'm sure it would be. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because otherwise any cost will only add on the wrong
Right.
side, so.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Questions from the public? Well, thank you. Well, looking for a motion here. Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, we're done with that one. Recognitions and special presentations, it says none, but thank you all for serving here. Comments by board members. 9-1 reports on meetings attended on RTA expense. You've been on an Uber for free? I'm just kidding. Board member comments and announcements. Any exciting things happening in your area? Okay, we're done with that.
Yeah,
Andy?
I did want to share with the board and the agency, so in terms of the airport and the updates on the construction project, we are on track in terms of our final construction completion. We are looking to be, I think we'll be seeing passengers in the new terminal in roughly September or so of 2027. So we are on track. Things are moving pretty quickly for a project of this scope. And as I'm sure all of you are aware, there's work that the airport was engaging with on the roundabout where Garden Road and Olmsted meet. Unfortunately, there were some delays in that work. There was a lot of utilities, they called it a rat's nest that they discovered underneath while they were doing some work there. So it was a little bit delayed, but we're anticipating that the roundabout should be done within the next 2 months or so and completed with construction there. And then in terms of the parking lot there, we now have temporary long-term parking that's been established for the airport. There is a new entrance into that lot. So right when you turn onto Olmsted off of 68, there's a new driveway that you can enter into, and that'll also be the future exit from the parking lot. There's a lot of signage as this construction project is ongoing. So if you're driving, just give yourself an extra, 15 minutes or so in case there's backup at the roundabout, because there is a little bit for the next couple of months, and the parking situation is just going to continue to shift while the terminal project is ongoing. They're kind of moving where the temporary parking is as they finish one area, then they'll close and move to another area and so on. So we appreciate your patience, but it's going to really be a fantastic new terminal, and we're all super excited about it. So fly Monterey.
Well, thank you for that report. Yeah. Any board member referrals for future RTA agendas? None, no closed session, so we adjourn. We'll see you July 12th of 2027. Stay safe out there.